everyone's brother-in-law is a dentist in Utah. Everyone in their neighborhood knows a few dentists. So I really spent some time trying to figure out like, what does everyone else do and how do I not do that, but still stay true to myself?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. With me, as always, is Mark Goldhart, my wonderful co-host. Mark, how are you doing this morning?
Doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All's well?
All is well. Excited to be here. This is 2 in a week, so.
Yeah, we have record. We're getting like,
Yeah.
we used to have like 4 in the queue at all times.
Things have gotten busy.
And then we got busy. Well, and it was hard because you'd want to talk about something trending. And if you talked about something trending now and it came out 4 to 6 weeks
Later,
it wasn't,
like,
you know?
Yeah.
And so it made it hard. And so now we make things hard for our producers at Film Lab to like, we record, they edit, and they publish, and they
Shout
probably
out to
hate
Grace.
us. They probably hate us for it. So Grace, who's behind the camera, you can't see him. He's like super excited that we'll have one in the queue. So now he can,
And a guest.
Yeah, now we have a guest.
We're excited to have a guest.
Yeah, this is a guest. We've been chatting for a while. So if you're listening, if you're watching the YouTube, you see him. But if you're listening, you don't see him. But I want to introduce Tyler Hanks, who is the founder of Happy Tooth Pediatrics, which is a pediatric dentistry up in Salt Lake.
Yep.
As well as the founder or co-founder of Happy Tooth Products.
Yep.
Yeah, which is like a direct-to-consumer business that's selling toothpaste, toothbrushes,
Dental
oral
products.
care.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. For kids. Well, and adults, actually.
And adults, yeah.
And adults.
Whole fam.
Yeah, welcome, dude.
Thanks. I need to apologize. I was looking back at our DMs. I think you reached out a year ago. And
It's been a minute, for
I
sure.
have just been busy.
You're a busy
or
man.
something.
Well, dude, listen.
I'm a dentist. We don't work Fridays.
We have like, I didn't know that you didn't work Friday. Is that how all dentists are?
Seems like it.
If you go, it's kind of why I got into it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
One
but
day off a week, yeah.
Go look at a dentist, man. Try to get a Friday appointment.
Friday appointment.
Like emergencies only.
Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, I reached out, but I realized like it was funny when I was trying for maybe like a month or so and I was like seeing that this was hard. That's what hit me. I was like, oh, like you're not our stereotypical guest. Like we haven't had a dentist, we haven't had a doctor, we haven't like most of the time it is strictly like a CMO or a like e-commerce founder, which you are, but
yeah.
But I'm guessing the majority of your time falls much more on the dentistry side of things,
Definitely.
Yeah. And as I look at my kids' dentists and my kids' orthodontists, I'm like, how are these dentists like doing this? Like what would happen if, like I asked my wife the question the other day, I'm like, what would happen if this guy got like the stomach flu for 4 days? Like
Great question.
What happens?
You power through. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
just like working on teeth and
I see 70 kids a day, which is back down from where I was a few years ago. And there is no, and they're planned out 6 months in ahead.
Yeah.
You go to the dentist and they want you to know your own schedule 6 months out.
Right.
But I'm booked out 6 months ahead. I got to know my schedule, my time. And so I feel really, really bad if someone's been waiting, 6 months to see me or whatever it is. And I'm sick. So we take all the meds and double mask and wash your hands and go to work dizzy sometimes. So yeah, it's great.
So yeah, I actually feel good about this. Like a year is,
Yeah, I appreciate that because booking
like
6 months in advance is like lunacy, I think.
It's crazy.
Whenever I'm at the dentist, I'm like, okay, are you good in December? It's like, I have no idea.
Just like a Tuesday in December at 11 a.m. Don't you know your schedule?
I hope so.
Yeah.
But so I guess we're like on your timeline. If we reached out a year ago, and you're getting people 6 months.
Exactly.
So it's not actually that bad if you really think about it. In fact, it's better because like we actually connected and you gave me a date maybe like 2 months ago. Yeah. So I'm like, I think we're ahead of schedule actually.
It is good.
Your patients who listen to this might actually be ticked.
They might be, but like, it's Friday. What? It's Friday.
Well, my kids are patients at his place.
Yeah, that is true.
It's great.
Yeah.
Which is, that's an honor. It really is. Like, it's great.
Well,
getting the breathway work done.
That's right.
Speaking of that, so like what's way cool is the biggest reason we reached out to you, which like I said, you are not our typical guest, right, as a dentist. But what you don't know about Tyler and what he's done, and we'll get a little background on him and all that, but like I know you're a dentist, but I look at you as like, you're probably 50-50 a dentist and 50-50 a content creator. Like you have done something so wildly different from anybody in this, is it okay if I just say medical space?
Yeah, healthcare space,
healthcare,
medical,
that's probably better.
Yeah.
Healthcare spaces, you just don't see that.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if that's because there's a lot of red tape and regulations on things you can and can't say maybe.
Well, there's HIPAA, but but like you're not, you don't have to talk about anybody's identifiable information.
Sure, you're not talking about Julie down the street whose kid is.
Yeah.
I live in the Utah County area, and that's like a 40-minute drive for me, probably. Right.
Yeah.
Well, from where you are, it'd be closer to like an hour.
So like,
unless I don't know, I-215 might be a little quick, but
I was like, I would like my kids to come to your place because of your content, and like I think I showed you that, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have my kids go there for this myo therapy.
Yeah. Because we were already looking at it at that point.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
That's
it's so cool, man.
Yeah, I'm humbled by that, and honestly, when I decided to open a spot from scratch in Utah, like that's I never thought it would become what it has over the last 5 years, but that was a decision I made really early. I don't want to spend money on billboards or like I don't look at billboards. I'm not on radio. I'm not everything I get from my mailbox. I literally write in the trash. So everyone's on social media. I think a lot of dentists and medical professionals don't have that. They don't, I guess at my core, what I'm trying to say is I'm an entrepreneur.
Sure.
And you got to go where the people are.
Yeah.
And so, I never thought it would become something that, we have people, literally we had a patient from London, like come see Dr. Kara. We have patients flying from like all over the country to come see us just from social media and just for dentistry.
It's wild.
It's incredible.
So what inspired you? You say like, okay, cool. I'm an entrepreneur at heart.
Well, I think just to iterate really quick in the healthcare space, almost every dentist is a private practice, right?
Yeah.
So like every dentist is a little bit more on the entrepreneurial side.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right. Instead of like an anesthesiologist is not going to be.
Yeah. They're tied to a hospital.
For example.
Or,
so, but I think what's interesting about your practice is here's the trouble with dentistries though, right? Like it's kind of like insurance books. Like if you own like an insurance brokerage, like you kind of have a book of business that you've built over time and it's really sticky.
Yep.
Like once you get people, they're just kind of like, I'm just going back to the same old.
Yeah. As long as my rates and the product stays
like I've been
seeing
my family dentist since I was 12.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or probably younger.
Great patient. Sure. That's great, dude.
Look at you, dude.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm sure you knew that going in, right? So if you're building a business from the ground up, you either have to like work really hard to convert people over. Most people already are seeing a dentist.
Yep.
Okay. Or you have to find a niche or something, which you did. So I'd love to hear like, how did you discover this pediatric dentistry? Cause that wasn't even a thing when we were kids.
Yeah.
I don't think, did they exist 20 years ago?
Not as many.
Yeah, probably. But
yeah. So pediatric dentistry is just, another specialty of dentistry similar to ortho, an orthodontist or like an endodontist, someone doing root canals all day or an oral surgeon. We all go to dental school. And then after dental school, you go do a specialty, residency. So I worked in a children's hospital for 2 years as a resident, specialized in kids, but I never thought during all my training, undergrad, all those years of endless books and all those things that I would ever come back to Utah, because Utah is like the worst per capita for insurance reimbursement for dentists. Like we make the least here in the country.
Interesting.
From our insurance companies because there's a dentist on every corner.
That's actually true for most healthcare professionals.
In Utah. Yeah. It's just,
interesting.
We all want to come back here. Like we all go out to school and everyone wants to come back. And I just never thought that.
So are you saying that there's a surplus of medical students and dentist students that come from Utah for whatever reason?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at per capita, yes.
For sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And
professionals that live here now.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. So I never thought I would be back, but after working for a little bit with a buddy out in Oregon and doing some different dental things, I was like, why did I do all that training if I can't go live by family and go live by the mountains and ski, and live on the lake? So I made the crazy decision I'm just going to start my thing from the ground up, and I have to do it differently because everyone already has a dentist they like. Everyone's brother-in-law is a dentist in Utah. Everyone in their neighborhood knows a few dentists. So I really spent some time trying to figure out, like, what does everyone else do and how do I not do that? But still stay true to myself, without, selling out or without being somebody you're not. And so, yeah, very early on, it was like most dentists will go find, again, another brother-in-law or another professional that can make them a logo that is their name and some mountains and some teeth or a tooth. And you can think of every dental office you drive by as some teeth or some mountains here. So I met with him. He's like, yeah, I can make you a logo and we'll try to make it fun. He's like, but I just worked with these designers called Hood Spa. They're two sisters from Southern California. They usually only do like font work for Pixar and Disney, and they only do huge, startup branding. He's like, they're going to cost probably 20 times what I would charge you.
Yeah.
He's like, but it'll be the best decision you made because you'll stand out. And so, like, that was the very first thing I did, was invest in my own brand.
Sure.
And from there, it was very simple to be me, to be different. Yeah. And that was a really cool process, working with them and building my brand and, growing from nobody knowing me in the area to people wanting to drive an hour away.
Yeah.
Yes, it's cool.
Which is a really cool thing, because I think that, in the e-com space, what's very interesting is a lot of people really invest in brand.
Yes.
And so that's almost like how do you, not saying that you create something ugly or something, not boring like teeth and mountains, but the hard part is like,
well, a lot of them aren't starting even that worried about acquiring customers, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's already a built-in, like, okay, I'll join as like a junior partner at this dentistry, and then like I'll eventually take it over. Like, it's just,
or I'll create a relationship with a chiropractic, firm that will then refer me. I will refer them because there's some ties there, and But yeah, I like that like your first thought process is like, hey, everything looks the same here. If I can have a happy tooth that represents dentistry, but is so different, I think that's a really cool principle. We talk about this all the time, like right now, like starting a company where you're selling a product has never been easier, right now, because of things like TikTok and Alibaba and what, like, if I wanted to go start a toothbrush company, I could do it probably in 3 months.
100%.
Right?
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying it would be good, but I could get the product and I could start selling and I could start running ads.
Have a website.
Easily.
Yep.
Run some ads.
Yep. AI could build that for me. And so it's never been easier. And the problem with what's happening right now is I think a lot of people have a mentality of like, oh, well, I can just do that and I can run ads the same way everyone else is doing. We all look at like, oh, brand XYZ is doing it. And so you chase what they're doing. But the problem is when you chase what they're doing, you just like, how are you supposed to stand out when you're chasing what they're doing? So I love this like standout discussion.
I mean, part of that is because it's easier, there's so much saturation, like even just content creation of apart from standing out as a dentist, just being online, like, and trying to influence anybody on there or bring value at all, is there's so many people doing it.
Totally.
And so, yeah, trying to sift through that without copying,
right.
And we all copy each other, but like, trying to be, original or, have value that way.
So as you like kind of start to figure this out, okay, cool, I'm going to invest in branding. I'm going to make myself look like I'm going to stand out so I don't look like everybody else. Did you have any sort of inspiration? Was there any brand or content creators that were inspiring you to be like, for you to like have that click to be like, oh dang, I could do this. Like I could get attention this way.
It's silly. Gary V.
Yeah.
Love Gary V. And honestly, it's not that I was going to be Gary V or create content the way he did, but just his like, look, we got gardeners on YouTube with millions of subscribers, making a living off of doing, making content off stuff they love. So, but I didn't see anyone in the space that was, a dentist that I was like, oh, I could do that. It was just like, okay, if someone talking about, tires can have a ton of subscribers,
right?
I can talk about teeth and just, I spent 10 years learning about this stuff and 20 years of my life trying to perfect the craft and all that, all these things. So let's just bring that and let's just film myself and see what happens.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I think that's where a lot of people stop is it seems so easy to post.
Yeah.
But I remember my first like time getting in front of the camera, I had to be alone. I was like, I can't do this in front of anyone. Like,
Sure.
I'm going to go make my first, video for Instagram for my practice to introduce myself. And it took me like an hour to make like a 20-second clip. Like it was so,
Like how my voice sounded weird.
Just so painful.
I hate the way that I look. I like it, and so once you get over that, like we're just going to document what's happening, and what we're doing is unique enough that at least in my space that it has resonated with so many parents and dental professionals all over. It's been, never thought it would be that. I was just trying to get some patients in the door, and now it's grown into a whole, dental product co. And crazy.
Yeah. How quickly did you start to see success when you started posting?
So for me, success wasn't, followers or engagement. Initially it was, new patients in the door. Like how many did we get to show up? And so, I think the average dental practice, healthy pediatric dental practice is getting maybe 70 to 80 new patients a month.
Okay.
Our first month without spending $1 on advertising, it was just social media, and posting kind of up to our grand opening. We had like 435 patients our first month.
That's so crazy.
And so,
now also, I don't want to undermine your content efforts, but you do have a great spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So but again, that went back to the branding.
I was curious, like, do you think that spot also helped?
You mean like
Because you're right on a big, like
location-wise?
you're right on 33rd.
Yeah.
There's tons of families that take 33rd up to the freeway and down I-80. So
Where on 33rd is it? I know
it's right off 23rd and 33rd.
Tell me where
like REI
Mocha Salsa is. Okay, so close to where Mocha was.
Just
is
west of Mocha Salsa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Just down the street a little
That's
bit.
my landmark.
Yeah. Mocha Salsa, man.
R.I.P. though.
Yep. Yeah.
What is it now?
Doesn't matter.
It's another
is it as
Mexican
good?
spot. It's
Well, it went to Hector's,
Yep.
but it was still Mocha Salsa when Hector had it, and then now I don't know.
It's got a drive-through though. I think still.
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's just like a Beto's or something.
Yeah. Very similar. We still do burritos from there every now and again.
All right. Sorry. Proceed.
So I'm only bringing up the foot traffic part
foot
because you made
traffic.
two good decisions. Like the spot is really
Location.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, 3 good decisions. The branding.
The branding, the spot. So like when you drive, like right when you guys open, like this is my neighborhood. Like where he is, like this is like where I grew up. Spent my whole life there, like going to breakfast at over the counter down the road from you. And and so I noticed the day it went up. It's like, oh, there's that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Pediatric dentistry. That's cool.
Sure.
Yeah. So early on, because we would track.
And that was 5 years ago?
That was 2020 is honestly April of 2020. I think is when I signed the lease there, and then we didn't finish construction until good timing, right? Until November. So peak COVID, like.
Because my kid was 2 at the time. Because I remember thinking, oh, pediatric dentistry, like my kids too, like. Do we need to take him to the dentist?
Yeah.
As a dad, I'm like, do we?
Does he have teeth?
That's your first
2 years old.
Those are gonna fall out.
We should probably go sometime.
Yeah. Early on, like we spent a lot of time tracking. How'd you hear about us?
Yeah.
And for the first 2 years, 80% of our business was social media.
So cool.
Awesome. I love that you were tracking it.
So cool.
Yeah. Which again, most dentists don't. They just throw money at a billboard or a mailer.
So you said 450?
Yeah.
So basically you would have been the average.
Yeah. Yep. Foot traffic and
would have been
insurance
70, 80.
Yep. Yep. And so all
Without
this,
it. Yeah.
all these free, customers came in and again, if we can win them over with it, if they like their dentist, they're probably going to stay for a while. Now my kids grow out of it. I'm not going to have them until they're 40.
Sure,
I'm going to have them until they're, teenage years. But so I got to continue that grind of finding new patients, but now we're having a different issue of being able to fit them all in. So
are you thinking about opening up multiple practices?
that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
I left Oregon because my buddy was growing and this is actually what medicine did in the 90s. They had all the private equity came in and said, we're going to just start buying a bunch of mom, pa physician practices. And then we're going to throw them all together and be able to recap and just roll. Right. And now medicine is basically just a few large organizations. It's happening in dentistry.
I've heard this.
And so, and I went out to Oregon with my buddy to kind of do the same. Okay, we got private equity going. We're starting to buy a bunch of practices, and I just kind of realized like that's not what I want to do. I want to do my own thing. And so, yeah, I forgot the question, but we're along the line somewhere.
It was more just, are you going to open up more practices?
Oh yeah. So thanks. That's the ADHD kicking in. The downside with becoming a corporation, especially in healthcare, is really the only people that it hurts are the patients. You end up buying a bunch of practices and providers kind of, you plug and play, and you're really just looking at profit margin and value versus what value are we offering the patients. And we're talking about kids, like I didn't want to compromise on that. So it's really something I've looked at probably since I opened my own was with the success we've had where it seemed almost too simple. Like we could go and make 50 of these all over the country.
Sure.
But I don't want to do it in the way that all these dental organizations are doing it. I want a dentist to be able to use the brand, but do it in their own way.
Yeah.
And we'll help them with all these different things, but they have to have ownership. It can't be a plug and play. Like it's your city, it's your neighborhood. We want you to own it.
Yeah.
We'll just franchise it.
Sure.
And we've toyed around that for 5 years.
Yeah.
But I think with the way our product code's going, I don't think I'll franchise. I don't think I'll open another. I think we just get to live the dream. Yeah.
Talk to us about the product line now.
Yeah. So again, I think it stems from that early decision of creating a brand that was very much me, and then a space that matched, like it was very easy to create a space that matched that brand. And then content creation rolled from there, like very easy to create content to a degree if you have a beautiful space and some fun branding to go with it. About 2 years in of growing on social media and growing my practice, my good buddy Jeremy Neff reached out and said, "Hey, I've been in the e-commerce space for a long time. Like, I think you could create a product with your brand and have a lot of success with it."
Yeah.
And so we kind of went to the drawing board of, well, what could it be? There's already a billion types of toothbrushes out there, or toothpaste, or different things, and ultimately came back to I have a lot of parents that declined fluoride in my practice.
Yeah.
Now the state has followed suit.
Yeah.
But it was most of our parents weren't brushing with fluoride toothpaste, right?
So was mine.
Yeah. So
I grew up taking the fluoride pills though.
Yeah. You grew up out. Yeah, that's great.
My wife will do like the application of it.
I think that's the safest form.
But that's all she'll do with the kids.
Yeah.
Like she'll take it home and like apply it.
Yeah.
I don't know like how it works, but
yeah. It's just like it's great. It's great. But that was a concern with a lot of my parents that we were seeing is they don't take fluoride, but they brush with basically just water. I mean, it's a fluoride free toothpaste, but it didn't have anything to really supplement enamel rebuild. And so, there was a couple hydroxyapatite toothpaste brands out at the time. And we found a local manufacturer for one of the biggest natural toothpaste brands here in Utah.
Sweet.
And we just got the ball rolling. But with that branding and with that concept, it became very like, okay, we're going to make clean, safe ingredients, products that aren't out there. And we're going to make them look the same way that the dental practice does, the same way I do. And we're going to market them the same way.
Yeah.
And now we're the number 6 best-selling children's toothpaste on Amazon. And we've been on Amazon for 1.5 years, and it's just been like...
That's wild, man.
Crazy.
This episode of The Unstoppable Marketer is brought to you by BFF Creative. Let's be real, hiring designers and video editors can get super expensive, and that's why I'm excited about what BFF Creative has done. They've built a subscription design service that gives you the feel of an in-house creative team, but at a fraction of the cost, which I'm sure we all could use right now. From ad creatives to social media posts, video edits to full website designs, BFF gives you unlimited designs and unlimited requests starting at just $1,000 a month. The best part about this, their custom app makes it super easy to submit projects, give feedback, review work, and store all of your creative in one place. As a listener of the podcast, you get 25% off your first 2 months with code Unstoppable25. That means unlimited creative for as little as $750 a month. Go check them out right now at bffcreative.co. Dude, you know what I love about this? Like, so you brought up at one point, it's like, what's cool about dentistry is like you've been going to the same dentist for the last 25 years or whatever it sounds like. Now, like you said, from a pediatric perspective, that can't happen. Yeah. But I imagine what happens is like kids stuff is so much more important to adults than adult stuff is, right? Meaning like I go to the dentist. I used to go to the dentist twice a year. I go to the dentist once every 4 or 5 years now. You know what I mean? Now I have really good teeth. Like I've had one cavity. Yeah, see,
that smile. Yeah,
I've had one cavity my whole life, and I'm convinced that the dentist that I went to lied to me about it. But he was out on the East Coast when I was on my mission. It was the only time I got a cavity, so I don't believe it. Anyways,
where were you at?
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh. Yeah, so, I don't know.
So, but anyways, so what I was saying is like, I bet you get a lot of referrals. Yeah. Like I bet that is super strong. Oh, you got to go here because of XYZ. And then the kids, like your kids who go there are going to then have their kids go there. Right. So anyways, the longevity of the patient is huge as long as the product's good. Yep. The other thing about what you're doing right here with the product is the longevity. I bet the lifetime value is huge. And I say that as somebody who has been so I was a Quip, Quip? Yeah. I was a Quip customer, like probably 6 months into them being in business, which is probably 10 years out now. Yeah. Maybe 8 to 10 years. I am still a Quip owner. And there's probably things that are much better. Your stuff is probably, now I don't do their toothpaste anymore because I do something more natural. They don't do that, but I do their.
What do you use, by the way?
I am a xylitol guy. Okay, I use xylitol toothpaste, like a natural xylitol toothpaste.
I came so unprepared. I should have had all sorts of stuff for you guys. We'll make it happen.
Round 2.
Because I'm
getting Biome.
What's that?
Called Biome?
Yeah, I know Biome. Yeah.
I don't know what's in it.
My wife does the Just Ingredients one.
Yeah, Just Ingredients is great. Yeah. Yeah, the powder.
Yeah, she does the powder. I hate it every time she puts it. I'm like, this is so gross. What are you doing?
We had both of my director of marketing, my assistant, basically, and her assistant.
Your assistant's assistant?
My assistant's assistant. Yeah, we got bougie. We got so many things going on, but both of them got stolen from me like 2 months ago. Probably that's when I took over my DMs, and that's when this happened. Yeah. And so you can thank me for being here, but we'll blame her for. Yeah. But they both worked for Happy Tooth and created our content with me, and we did a bunch of fun stuff. And I can't compete with these amazing software companies, and so. And one got stolen by the Utah Jazz. So it's cool to have a brand, but it's tough to keep
talent. Yeah,
talent's hard.
Yeah, and so usually they would have stuff for me to give, and I'm sorry.
Yes,
I came unprepared.
Well, but like I said, what I like about this is, bro, you got.
I'll just tell my wife to buy some at the office.
No, I need to give you guys some good
They're going
stuff.
in. Now he's getting his expander taken off next week.
That's awesome.
So they'll be in there next week. I'll say go pick up some toothpaste,
or we can just buy it online. A couple clicks here and there. Yeah, some free shipping if we spend over $46. I saw.
It's weird. I'm in e-commerce, but I actively try to avoid buying on Amazon.
No, not Amazon.
Well, yeah, Shopify. We got a Shopify site.
Go.com.
Yeah, try happytooth.com.
Yeah,
but that's 3-day shipping, right?
Probably
not in Utah.
So
our stuff's.
Should pick it up.
All right. Yeah. Well, anyways, you have 2.
I'm assuming you sell it in the store.
So we did for a minute, and now all of our stuff just gets sent straight to our warehouse. It's coming off our shelves.
Oh, well, I guess we got to order online. Okay,
but we always have some that I would give her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we give. So that was another cool thing. Is early on I was actually buying Quip brushes, and they would give us toothpaste for my patients. I wanted that patient loyalty to be really strong. We opened up, and now we've been able to replace all those cheap kind of crappy dental products that you get when you're a little baggy when you go to the dentist with Happy Tooth products.
So it's all your product?
We give them a little Happy Tooth shoebox, like a little mini one, because I like shoes.
Because you're a big shoe guy, right?
Yeah, I like shoes. I wear them all. Not a collector, but no offense to collectors, but yeah, we gave every kid their own little black Happy Tooth shoebox, and then it's got all of our products in there and some stickers. Awesome. Yeah, it's fun. Kids like it.
So to pivot a little bit, because we're talking about this, what have you learned about marketing to parents, right? Because when you're selling kid products, kids aren't buying it.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially something like toothpaste.
Yep.
So what have you learned with your dentistry that's also converted over to the product side of how you talk and relate to parents, even though it's a kid product?
Yeah. So, I mean, now our products have grown to include the whole family, but that is it's an awesome question, because that was a concern even opening my practice and then opening e-commerce brand is kids not seeing this content. Kids not making the decision to come in. And so we have to appeal to parents, moms,
And primarily
mostly.
moms. Yeah.
Yeah. Ages 20 to 40 or so. And so that was kind of our target market. And yeah, I think the practice of posting every day for my practice kind of grew this muscle of, okay, we know what moms like, we know what parents like, we know how to kind of get their attention, and that just kind of has very organically transferred into what we're doing with our product code.
And without giving away any secrets, what is it that gets a mom's attention?
That's a great question.
That mug. Look at the mustache and the mug.
That's just that handsome face.
Who's the country singer right now that like is going? Is it Riley? Do you know what I'm talking?
Waylon?
Oh, Morgan.
Not-
I got
no.
called Morgan Whalen by grandma the other day at my practice.
I think it's
So I'll
like
take it.
Riley Green or something like that. He's got a music video that's like very saucy, and he's got like
I thought you were saying like doppelganger. Like he kind of
but
looks like maybe
he's
a
got
Morgan
like he's
Whalen.
got kind of like longish. I know your hair's not like super long, but it kind of has that like
Little
you can
flow to
tuck
it.
it and it's got the flow to it.
Little
And
mullet.
he puts the cowboy hat on and he's got like a fresh mustache, like you do.
That was me
And-
the other night at Post Malone. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Same thing.
it's a very sexy look right now. I want to say it's
the mustache.
Grace will have to look it up. Look at
Yeah,
the country
is the
singer's
mustache
Riley,
making a comeback with the
Oh yeah,
ladies?
I think it's Riley Green, country
Tom
singer.
Selleck.
But girls are fawning over this music video right now.
Hilarious.
That's amazing.
Because it's a little spicy and he's a hunk.
So besides
Is
your
it Riley
looks,
Yeah. Besides this ugly mug,
what is attracting and how do you talk to moms? Like what catches their attention?
man, like that's something that I've been really thinking about over the last few months as I knew my two assistants were leaving and like, do I want to hire people to continue to help me do that or is the landscape shifting? And I feel like there is like this shift and I'm trying to grasp what it is. And ultimately I don't know how much I care for my practice, but the product co, of course. And so that's something that I'm still trying to figure out, I think. And you can't stop trying to figure out what's going to grab attention. I think early on, like from my experience, it was, and every time I go speak at conferences or dental schools, it's like, branding, find a brand that is so, and again, you guys, that is e-commerce, is like having a brand that jumps out. And so our content was,
Although you'd be surprised how many people are scared to do that.
right.
Like everyone, like as much as you need to, most people want to blend in.
Hence why we have you.
Yeah.
That's why we want you. That's why we wanted you on. Yeah.
But like, I think a hook is, we're talking about creating content. That first 1 or 2 seconds is everything. Right. And so I think very quickly our bright colors or our, mural wall that says bite me, or us being in our basketball court, or me having dental loops, but looking this way is like, well, who's this guy? Like,
just
is he,
FYI,
he's a dentist?
If you're listening to this, he is not your like typical clean shaven button up. Like he's got sleeve tattoo here. He's got a mustache. He's wearing a beanie. Like you're not your stereotypical dentist by any means.
Yeah, barely. I'm just a kid's dentist though, and everything I do falls out anyways. So, no, but, which was also an interesting thought early on is like, I'm coming back to Utah. Every you could paint a picture right now of every single dentist in the valley, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at one right now. Yeah, in my head.
And I'm a kid's dentist. Like, how are parents going to trust this?
Yeah.
But getting back to content creation, like that stands out. And I don't do this for anyone else, but I think that's part of what's worked is like, I dress the way that I want. And I think it actually works for kids. They like it. They're scared of scrubs or the white coat. I'm still scared of going to the dentist.
Or it just makes him look like dad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of how I feel. It's like you look like my dad.
So often mom's like, look, he's got shoes just like dad.
Yeah.
Or look, he's got a Spider-Man tattoo just like dad or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so that like is an awesome barrier. And then the other side of content creation is, you know, you got to find beyond the hook, you got to really bring value. And so for me, that's easy. I spent a long time learning about teeth. And so bringing value is, you know, I have people come to see me for the things that I've learned or can do, I guess. Not that it's just teeth. I'm not a heart surgeon, chill out. So, but, and then you gotta provide that value in so many different ways. Like from when like I think my practice opened when TikTok was becoming something.
Totally.
Yeah. 2019, 20.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's evolved so much from, I'm going to get on and do a behind the scenes, or I'm going to get on and talk about this and that. And now it changes so fast. So that's something that I'm always trying to figure out is how do we continue to grasp attention and not just get lazy with, okay, we know this works, let's just keep doing that, because it doesn't work. You know, over time it fades out. But there's core principles that work. And
can I like give a little I'm just going to dissect it a little bit.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Well, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. Maybe some of this was just like natural and it just happened. But what it is when you're talking to moms about their kids, you have to be an expert about what you do.
For sure.
Yep.
But it's the juxtaposition, right, of the wisdom, right? But you're also at the level, like you're coming down to the level of a kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like that's what that does for moms is it says, hey, they know what they're talking about. But it's interesting, right? It's kind of like when there's a whole thing about this, like when people of different cultures like pick up something like in another culture, right? Like Japanese people playing country music,
right,
is like more interesting than seeing people in Kentucky play country music.
Totally. Yeah.
On social media,
For sure.
right? Because it's like that juxtaposition of
Yeah.
wait, what? Like you guys are that interested in that?
Yeah.
Like that's interesting. So it's like, hey, loose, cool, normal guy.
Yeah.
But, oh, that's interesting. Like he's actually a real dentist, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that juxtaposition, but then also coming down the level of the kids where it's fun, right? So a mom can start seeing, oh, it's such a pain to take my kid to the dentist because they're scared, they're nervous, right? Like they don't want to open their mouth. Like it's always a fight.
Yeah.
So now it's an environment where they can go in and be
Stoked.
way more loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I don't know if you actively tried to alleviate that anxiety because that's the stress of the mom, right? Like what you're solving for her is the pain of taking my kid to the dentist because it's sterile and it's like, ugh, like they can't run around either. Like there's no room for the kid.
Yeah.
Where you opened it up, you have room for the kid to run. So the mom doesn't have to worry about like, hey, sit down, don't move. Like it's our turn.
Definitely. I think I had some things going for me in the fact that you were mentioning when I have a tooth hurting me, I'm not going to see the dentist for a year. I'm going to wait on that tooth for a year. When your kid complains of tooth pain, you're the next day, right? So I have that going for me, right? Yeah. But from the other side of things is they could go to the dentist 2 doors down or, 10 minutes down or an hour away. So
or uncle's
or an uncle. Yes, or whatever, exactly. Right. Especially here in Utah. But I don't know if it's my own like childhood traumas or my own like experience of the dentist, but like I tried to spend, like be as a child walking into my practice and trying to smell and feel everything that a dentist office is and not be that because that's terrifying, So we tried to create a children's museum in the front. It's got a slide and a light bright wall and a big mural that says "Bite Me," which some parents find offensive, but I think it's funny. So we got a basketball, like it doesn't look or feel or smell like a dental office. We wanted the same with our products. Like I didn't want a tube of toothpaste that was blue and white or blue or white and red, like the two main that we see at the grocery store. And now there's a lot more color and exciting things with dental products. It's becoming. And again, I didn't want the other side of it, which was Disney or, like they try to market to kids with
a little more on the cheesy side.
Yeah. And it was like, we're not marketing to the kid. We need to create a product that kids will like, but we got to market to the parents. So I wanted something aesthetic, which I knew my practice was.
Teeth and
So, so we had to create a product that appealed to moms, safe, clean ingredients, locally manufactured. And that the colors were still fun enough for the kid, but ultimately appealed. It's going to be, for the mom, it's going to be on their counter, right? Yeah. And so I hate seeing, no offense to like Frozen or, just like all those toothbrushes and toothpaste. Yeah. I'm like, this is so annoying. Like but that's work. Like kids and parents alike like the product for their own reasons, different reasons.
Totally.
And that's been a fun thing to navigate and play with. So
I like this question because this can fit into other people who like, there's a lot of people, well, you know the metric to this. I always forget it, but like, is it 80% of all household decisions are made by mom?
Yeah.
Something like that, maybe even 90%.
Yeah.
Right. So
like household purchases.
Yeah. So I think this
mom makes.
And household purchases are anything from food to toothpaste to clothes.
Now dads will buy the stuff, but the
person who's deciding is mom.
Like I often go to the grocery store, but I am there with a list.
Right.
From
100%.
From my wife. Like she's the one that's saying, so do this, or like go to Costco, grab me that.
Right. So the reason why I like this conversation is because we're talking about it from a dentist perspective, but the principles are like true for anybody who's selling to moms.
100%.
Right. We realized really early. So we used to be, a part of a bigger brand here in Utah that was selling diaper bags to moms. And we realized really early on is that, we never wanted to get into the Disney, patterns, frizzy, fluffy stuff.
Yep.
Because the diaper bag, though it was meant to be an accessory to help the baby,
mom was wearing it.
It needed to be an accessory for mom.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with kids' clothes, right?
Yep.
Even though the kid's wearing it, guess how you like parents, especially like I've got 3 kids. I've got a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And when my kids go to school, it's a reflection, at least the way I think, of how their parents are going to think of me. So my son, like he's always like, this is him. This is not me pushing it on him, by the way. He's always wearing Jordans and he's always got like a retro 90s basketball jersey.
Love it.
So he's wearing like an Iverson jersey.
Love it.
Or he's wearing like a Ken Griffey baseball jersey or something like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's going to go to somebody's house and they're going to think that like, oh, that's got to be a cool dad, or that's
marketing.
It sounds
marketing
stupid.
The family.
It sounds so stupid, but like that is how it is, right?
Yeah.
So when you're marketing girls' clothes, you're marketing to the mom. Like she's got to be like, okay, that's gonna look cute on her, and that's gonna,
whether we like
and
it,
the kid won't fight it either. Like it's
yes,
like
it's very true,
line.
but you got to find a way to, of course, make it good for the kid too, right?
100%, especially with kids, like with young kids. I think because I got a 13-year-old. He turned 13 yesterday, but like for a long time of his life, and I have 4 sons, but it's like they're an extension of you, right? Like you're saying, and so you have to appeal to the parent in everything that you're doing there. And it takes us a while as parents to kind of separate. Like, wait, hold on, they're their own person. They're not me. Mm-hmm. Even though it feels like my heart's out there walking around, and I clothe it, and I want it to look a certain way, and do a certain thing, like. That's a hard thing to separate, but in e-commerce world, like you can use that to your advantage and, in so many ways. So
totally.
Well, there's also a lot more control from 0 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like once they hit 10, it's like good luck. You're going to have a lot of friction in your house if you're trying to dress your kid.
So true.
Even like 7 or 8, it's like starts growing. Like, we haven't dressed our oldest in a long time.
Yes.
And we don't even dress our 5-year-old, but
yeah,
he only has what he has to choose from, which is our stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I don't dress him, but I make sure.
But you dress them.
Yeah, but I dress them. But I put what's in their closet.
You put what's in the closet for sure. Yeah. Every now and then you give that's how we were. Every now and then we gave our kids like a couple cheesy things that they would pick that you're like, oh, I hate it when you wear that, but you're happy, so I'm happy. Yeah. Just as long as that's not what you're wearing to the party, the little girl's party you're going to on Saturday morning or something like that.
Yeah. Dude, my 5-year-old always wears orange shorts and a red shirt, and it drives my wife nuts.
It's great.
Like the orange and the red.
Yeah, it's just like it's a good combo.
Like, oh,
start of the rainbow. Great.
Horrible.
Well, I've got some questions. I've got some I was just thinking about this just because of what you do, right? From the entrepreneur perspective as well as the content creator. So this is like the let's call it overrated or underrated.
Cool.
Right, so you give it an overrated or underrated.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready? And if you can think of any others, feel free to toss them in here. All right, let's go with. So a lot of these are going to be around content, but let's go. Being the face of your business, overrated or underrated?
Man, that's such a good question. I am the face of both my businesses. So I have to say underrated, but I really believe that it can be overrated.
Okay.
We're trying to have me not be for the product co.
Yeah.
This is what everyone says, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not like some unique, cool.
No,
I'm
like eventually you don't want, like every
you don't want
business owner
that,
doesn't
right?
want to have to rely on their face.
They
all
get
the time.
really nervous,
Which is-
right? How can you sell it if you're the face?
Yep.
That's a big thing.
And which is why I didn't name the spot or our products Dr. Hank's toothpaste.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
we want to exit eventually. Hopefully soon. Just kidding, but always looking. Yeah. So, and
I'm
that's
stick with underrated on that one.
yeah,
I like
underrated is good.
it. Yeah, I like it. Or maybe we'll say a face, having someone's face.
Yeah, like you want, and I think it's still evolving, but you want a story. You want to be able to tell a story, and I think it's very easy to connect with a person when a story is being told. So
I like it. All right. What about posting every day? Overrated, underrated?
underrated. Yeah,
Like it.
definitely.
Like it. How come?
I mean, I can't even count how many times we over the last 5 years have spent time thinking this is funny.
Yeah.
This one, like people are going to like this.
Yeah.
And we spend an hour and a half on it and then another 2 hours editing or whatever. And I don't edit. So
Yeah.
they spend hours editing and it gets 10 likes,
Yeah.
you know, or the one that we put together without even thinking. It's like, hey, we haven't posted today. This is good. Let's throw this together. And it gets 8 million views. It's like, okay. So it really is like, keep your line in the water.
Sure. At bats.
Yeah. Get your at bats. Cause you don't know, like it really, there's quite a bit of luck involved with what goes viral, what
I like it.
gets people going.
This one kind of is similar, going viral. Overrated, underrated.
Man, nuance there. Overrated, to an extent. But it is, if you can keep that momentum going, I think the cool thing is a lot of our biggest days in sales for our e-commerce co were when we had a huge post go viral. Mm-hmm. The post wasn't about our products, but other stuff. And people saw the brand and were like, wait, and in the comments they're asking, well, okay, then what toothpaste, or okay, then what do you recommend for this?
Right.
And like, that's where we get a ton of sales is when, so it's both.
Yeah.
Like you can't rely on the viral posts, but, and they don't really turn into much often, but if you can get lucky and be creative enough, I think they can. So
I like it. Okay. Building in public, meaning like documenting what you're doing. Overrated, underrated?
Depends how you turn that into content. So like filming while you're in public, I think is great. Document as much as you can, but how do you turn that into content that people are actually going to watch is the key. So I think it's underrated. Like keep the camera going, which I usually have. Again, 2 or 3 people here filming, getting B-roll. B-roll is such an easy way to create content of me out doing all these different things, and then we post like brush your teeth and put
that's why we have great. I don't know if you saw him. He was filming, right? Like he came in here and just like took a couple shots. So I like it. What about like entrepreneur groups?
Great question.
Overrated or underrated?
I'm not in any.
Okay.
But my partner, I think, is in all of them.
Okay.
Jeremy Neff. So the co-founder. So that's my answer.
Okay.
I think he gets a lot of value.
He would say underrated. You would maybe say.
I'm going to lean with him. Underrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, in the same vein, then networking groups, a little bit different, right? Entrepreneur groups are where like you've got a set amount of people that are all founders and they're the only ones who can be in it. Whereas a networking event could be anybody. Yeah,
but maybe I'll say underrated for like a specific like entrepreneur group, and then overrated for networking things. Yeah, okay. I think we've actually we bootstrapped our entire e-commerce company, and so that's been, and now trying to sustain year over year growth 3 to 4 years in a row is like, how do we keep doing this? Just him and I, and but I think having a group like that to lean on, and to know what things to look for, when we're trying to exit or whatever it may be, has been, having people that have done it, has been helpful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll go a couple more. Company culture. Overrated, underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah. Why?
Everything. Yeah. I mean, everything is marketing, right? Like branding is the first thing, but everything is marketing. And so if your company culture is crap, it's a reflection of you. Same as your kids. Like,
sure.
You know, like, and no offense to parents out there and kids, but like, you know what I'm saying, that if, I don't know.
We know some kids are kind of their own thing.
Yeah. Right. But like, and some employees kind of do their own thing, but if you don't have that culture where like, I don't know, we all have this intuition, like this feeling of people's vibes, whatever it is, energy. And it's like, if the energy is off, whether you're going through their content or you're looking through their website or you walk into their brick and mortar, like you just, doubt is a big factor in whether we buy or not. Like,
sure.
Is this legit company? Is this, you know? And so, the culture is everything. It can be comforting. It can be fun and exciting. Or it can just be boring or create doubt.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like
that because I think we talked about this the other day is, everyone thinks a brand is your logo. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the start of a brand, but what your brand really is how much trust you have, right? For whatever you're doing.
It's what people think about you.
Yeah. So like if they trust you, if you've built trust around whatever you're doing, then you have a brand.
Yep.
Right? Like a lot of people think they have brands, they don't. Like you have
you got a cool logo.
You have a cool logo and that's the start, right? Like you have to start somewhere. So we're not saying,
get that hook.
Like you said, like you started with the hook, like you started building something, but you didn't have a brand on day one.
Nope.
But now you have a brand because you've built trust over time.
Once you have people coming back, right? Like that's really when the brand starts.
And a culture is a reflection of that trust.
Especially for a brand like yours, right?
Yeah.
That people are seeing on a 6-month basis.
Yeah, 6 month or online, you know. Yeah.
For sure.
And then you gotta have a product that matches that culture. You have a product that brings value. So
totally.
You know,
I like it. Okay, we'll go one more, last one here, just because this is such a hot topic in the like entrepreneurial space, especially online. Morning routines, overrated, underrated.
Overrated.
Overrated.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
Why?
No 4 a.m. Ice baths for you.
No,
what's that guy's name?
That's so funny. Yeah. No, man. We're all different. Like some people are night owls, some people are morning people. And to put yourself into somebody else's box is probably not going to work for you. And so I don't have a morning routine. I wake up at 8 o'clock and I'm seeing patients by 8:30, you know? That is what it is. But I stay up late and I get a lot of stuff done late and, you know, I work out late, you know? So we all have routines, but I think ultimately having a routine is is underrated.
Sure.
But specifically morning is, I think,
you don't see the hot fuss on it.
Yeah, but if you don't have a routine, especially as an entrepreneur, I think dentists, there was a study a long time ago that have the highest suicide rate because you're a provider and you're an entrepreneur and you have all this training in being a provider and absolutely no training in being an entrepreneur. And usually people in healthcare aren't the best salespeople.
Sure.
And so there's this stress level that happens, but you guys know similar study with entrepreneurship is high risk factor for anxiety and depression, you know, ADHD, all these different things, mental health disorders. So having a routine has saved me. I mean, I didn't have it when I started.
For sure.
Absolutely saved me. I had to go through, you know, some dark, you know, times to try to find, okay, what's going to work for me. And even from a schedule, being able to, hey, let's dial this back or let's push the gas here. I think all that is so underrated at figuring that out. Cause it's not just money, margin, revenue, you know, it's like, what's going to work for us? And that's something Jeremy and I, my co-founder, we try to figure out. And then my wife and I try to figure out for the practice. And so
awesome.
Long
Love
answer.
It.
I like it. Got anything else on those questions?
No,
I like those.
Those are great answers.
Where can people find you?
Yeah. So you can find us, you know, Instagram, TikTok at Happy Tooth SLC. We got a Shopify site with all of our clean, safe dental products for family at tryhappytooth.com. And then we're also on Amazon and
nice.
Or just come down the street, Mill Creek and knock on the door and we'll fix some teeth.
Killer.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. This
Glad
is
we finally got on your calendar.
Yeah, I'm glad. I don't like doing much outside of just fixing teeth and spending time with my kids. So it's always hard to get me out because I don't think this directly puts patients in my chair, and I really don't care about that anymore. But I think there is. I feel fulfilled in the fact that, like, I don't know if there's an entrepreneur out there or a dentist out there that finds any value in this. Then and hang out with you guys, it's great. If there's anyone that finds value, it's worth it. So
they're definitely
thanks for getting me out here.
Yeah. So we appreciate it, man. Well, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for listening and tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. Please go rate and subscribe the podcast, whether it's good or bad. We want to hear from you because we always want to make this podcast better. If you want to get in touch with me or give me any direct feedback, please go follow me and get in touch with me. I am at the Trevor Crump on both Instagram and TikTok. Thank you, and we will see you next week.